So basically, they just announced the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 compilation. And this is kind of like a remake of the first two titles in the Pro Skater series, and it's been revealed, and it's been going to be released on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC, and it's being developed by Vicarious Visions. If you guys don't know, they're the ones who took care of the new Crash collection that came out. So they revealed it at the Summer Game Fest. Steve, you got a chance to see this. What do you think? It looks amazing to me.
Oh, I lost my mind when I saw this. So I just, so right before the Summer Game Fest, people were leaking, and and there was like text messages being leaked that this was being announced. Luckily, it was like 30 seconds before the actual showcase, because by the time I think you sent me the artwork that it was being announced, I was already watching the actual video, and I just could not believe it. I was like, oh my god, this looks so good, because I was always really disappointed in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD they did years ago. I think it was on PS3 and 360.
That was not it.
It was like a half step. That was before the age of like remasters and stuff like that. So when I saw this, and it looked so brand new, but also you could tell the mechanics and the weight of the characters were there from the originals. I just could not be happier. And then I was curious. I wonder who's making this. And then they're like, of course, we teamed up, Activision, all of them. They're like, oh, we teamed up with the guys who did our Crash reboot, our remaster. And that game was fantastic. And
awesome,
the Insane Trilogy that released on PS4 and, everywhere is so, it honors the classics so much, where it's, plays almost identically to the classics. So to have that brought up, and, they fixed some things in the Crash one. So I can only imagine they're going to fix a lot of those issues with the Tony Hawk original games and make them a little bit, just feel better and flow better in a 2020 game. I absolutely loved everything about this. The fact that they got, not all of them, but they got most of the original soundtracks there. They were able to, redo those licenses, which are always pretty expensive.
That's a big deal for a Pro Skater game, too. The soundtrack is just as important as the gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Especially when, it's not, this is not Tony Hawk Pro Skater 6. This is a classic. That's like if when you launched Crash Remake and the first world didn't have that normal song. Imagine that. It's like that's part of the nostalgia that we love. And so the fact that they were able to get most of them, I think there's only a few songs they weren't able to relicense, and it's actually because some of those people who are no longer around and stuff, little nitpicks like that. But they got Superman in there, so that's my jam in Tony Hawk. So as soon as this announced, I have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 somewhere, and I can't find it in the middle of my move. But I started playing that soundtrack like crazy, because I'm so excited to see this. And I'm excited to see also, they had Tony Hawk on the conference with Jeff Keighley. And he seems so passionate, and I like that they did not mention Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. They kept talking, he did talk about the history of the Tony Hawk games in general, where he's like, we really love 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then he kind of stopped. He's kind of stopped there.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done maybe Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 as well. Really,
that was one of the ones I grew up with a lot.
Yeah, I think they should have really, wrapped that in there as a nice tight package. But maybe they're doing 1 and 2, and then later 3 and 4, and then we never talk about maybe never talk about 5 again.
5's not canon.
Yeah, the same way that they didn't include Crash Nitro Kart in the Crash trilogy that some reason people wanted.
It's like that Arkham game. They the way they treat that Arkham game it doesn't exist.
But yeah, the game looks good. The soundtrack's there. The controls look good. I watched some of the gameplay that came out afterwards with Tony Hawk and stuff like that, and it looks and plays like the original ones, but obviously just modernized a little bit. So this game's everything I wanted. I've been dying for a good Tony Hawk game. The last one I really enjoyed was American Wasteland, I think, on the older consoles. So
yeah.
What did you think? I know we were texting while this was happening, because we were both kind of losing our mind over this.
Yeah, for me, this is best case scenario. And when it comes to bringing older games back, I think as a gaming community, all we ask is that you handle with care. Mm-hmm. And to me, the way they were talking and describing how this came about and how they're approaching it, handle with care is on the front of their minds. And so this is way more than we could ever ask for. Let alone the fact that they took a look at the original code. they're making it not only for analog sticks, but with, classic gamepad controls for those gamers. That just shows that they know who the target demographic is, and this is way more than just a cash grab. Now, obviously, this is probably going to sell astronomical, so they're aware of the financial implications of releasing a game like this. However, it seems like in order to realize that financial reality, you need to deliver the best quality product as possible, and this team is an excellent team to go to. They're approaching it exactly how they need to. I've seen some of the gameplay, and it looks phenomenal. It looks exactly how it would. They're taking all the classic stuff that made it better, or a great game, and they're just building upon that and adding small stuff. They're adding the multiplayer aspect and stuff like that in some of the different modes. But for example, their emphasis on making sure that they included couch co-op is a major deal, and it's something that is frequently overlooked in the modern game space, because understandably it's hard to render such demanding crazy textures, 4K textures, multiple times. I understand why couch co-op kind of went away, but the fact that they are willing to put in the work and realize to make sure that the full experience that you were able to have on the classic PS1 you can have here, just modernized. And I mean that's everything you could ever want for like an HD remake. And again, this is not just a remaster. It's not a fresh coat of paint. This is closer to like Spyro. This is Crash. That's what they're doing. Shadow Colossus. Like, they're remaking these games, but upon the foundation of the original, to make sure that the feel is correct. And I like that Tony Hawk was there and emphasizing the fact that the feel is what the most important thing, because obviously the Pro Skater series really kind of went a different direction, and they allowed kind of franchises like Skate to kind of leapfrog them, because I felt like in many ways Skate was kind of tapping in to that old energy in a way that the Tony Hawk series kind of was not. And so the fact that, Pro Skater can come back, and I feel like in many ways kind of take that back now that there's not really that much competition in terms of like a big AAA release to compete with. There's small stuff going on in Steam that are doing a really awesome job. But as of right now, I mean, this is their chance. This is Tony Hawk Pro Skater's chance to kind of come back and reestablish your name in the game industry. And all I can hope is that they don't Guitar Hero and Rock Band themselves, and not do it proper justice and come back and realize that the demand's not there and that the industry has changed too much. I think they have a unique opportunity to reestablish themselves in the same ways Crash did, where it's like, who would have thought that in 2020 people would be asking for a new Crash title? Like, if I brought you back to like 2004, I mean, it was not looking like that. And I mean, it was kind of looking like that with Pro Skater 2 for a while. Like, it's like, hey, do you want Pro Skater 6? And it's like, oh, not after what they did with Pro Skater 5. Leave it dead.
Exactly.
And the fact that now they have another chance to not only bring back games that we like, but kind of reignite the fire for that name. And maybe when there's inevitably a Pro Skater 5, which I doubt, or Pro Skater 6, which I doubt they'd use that name just because of what they'd be attaching themselves to. That's something people would be excited for, and that could actually imagine that a Pro Skater game being in the Game of the Year conversation. Like, imagine that, and I think that's a real possibility now. So I'm really, really excited about this, and I love how close it is too. It's coming out September?
Let me see. I think it was September 4th. Also coming out for $40.
Yeah, $40.
That's that sweet spot. That's that
right
sweet
before
spot.
Cyberpunk too. So
it's
not
big. It's gonna be my casual. Exactly, it's gonna be that casual game. People are I don't know. People are gonna lose their mind. I like it, and shout out to have you seen the collector's edition?
Yes.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Amazing.
Oh, it looks so good. It claims to be coming with a full size board, which is kind of dope.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
I doubt it, but because it's even the collector's edition is only $100, which
$100 for, I mean, either unless that board is made out of like cardboard, I don't understand how that works. But
I'm looking at the picture right now, and it says limited edition full size birdhouse skateboard deck with
for $60, I would imagine, because if the game's $40, then you're talking about $60 worth of value for a board, not including all the other stuff. I don't know. That's very low end for a board. So I don't know how they're gonna make that work. But hey, I'll trust them. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting. It was an exciting week for news. So